The Valari had been watching Earth for 300 years. They saw humans discover fire. They saw humans build cities. They saw humans fight wars and make peace. They saw humans reach their moon and send machines to other planets. Through it all, the Valari watched and waited. Commander Tora stood on the bridge of her great ship, the Eternal Vigil. She looked at the blue planet below. It was beautiful. Blue oceans, green lands, white clouds. She had seen many worlds in her long life, but Earth was special. It was full of life, full of potential. "Commander," said Bora, her navigator. He was young for a Valari, only 200 years old. His silver eyes reflected the light of the display screens. "We are in position. The humans have detected our ships." Tora nodded slowly. This was the moment they had prepared for. The Valari Collective had protected 17 species across the galaxy. It was their purpose, their reason for existing. When a young species faced danger, the Valari came to help. They shielded the weak. They guided the lost. They protected those who could not protect themselves. And now, a great danger was coming to this part of space. "Show me the Harrow Swarm's position," Tora commanded. The display changed. Red dots appeared, far away but moving closer. The Harrow Swarm. The name made even old Valari warriors feel cold. The swarm was not a species. It was a hunger. An endless, terrible hunger that moved through space, eating everything in its path. Planets, moons, entire civilizations. The swarm consumed all organic matter and moved on, always hungry, never satisfied. The swarm would reach Earth in 18 months. The humans had no idea. How could they? They were still so young, still learning about the universe. Their little ships could barely reach their nearest planets. They had no weapons that could harm the swarm. They had no shields that could stop it. They needed the Valari. They just did not know it yet. "Open a communication channel," Tora said. "Use their primary languages. Let them know we come in peace." Bora worked at his station. "Channel open, Commander." Tora straightened her back. She wore her ceremonial armor, silver and blue, the colors of protection. She wanted to look strong, but not threatening. The first contact with a new species was always delicate. Many young species panicked when they learned they were not alone in the universe. Some attacked out of fear. Some hid. Some simply could not accept the truth. "People of Earth," Tora spoke clearly. "We are the Valari Collective. We have traveled far to reach you. We come not as enemies, but as friends. We come not to conquer, but to protect. A great danger approaches your world. We wish to help you. We wish to keep you safe. Please, do not be afraid." She ended the message and waited. Around her, the crew of the Eternal Vigil held their breath. 100 Valari, all trained for this moment. All ready to be guardians. The response came faster than Tora expected. Much faster. "Commander," Bora said, surprise clear in his voice. "They are responding. Show me." A human face appeared on the screen. A female, Tara thought, though she was still learning to tell human genders apart. The human had dark hair and calm eyes. She wore simple clothes with symbols that Tora did not recognize. "Valari Collective," the human said. Her voice was steady, not afraid, not angry, just calm. "We have received your message. My name is Yuna. I speak for the people of Earth. We welcome you to our solar system." Tora felt confused. This was not normal. Young species usually took days to respond to first contact. They needed time to process, time to argue among themselves, time to panic and then calm down. But this human, this Yuna, spoke as if she had been expecting them. "You are not surprised to see us?" Tora asked carefully. Yuna smiled. It was a small smile, the kind that held secrets. "We have been watching your ship's approach for several weeks. We wondered when you would finally say hello." Bora made a small sound of disbelief. Tora silenced him with a look. "You detected our ships?" Tora said. "That is impressive. Our technology is designed to be invisible to primitive sensors." "Perhaps our sensors are not as primitive as you think," Yuna replied. Her voice remained friendly, but there was something underneath. Something Tora could not quite identify. "We come to warn you of danger," Tora pressed on. "The Harrow Swarm approaches this sector. They will reach your world in less than 2 years. They have destroyed countless civilizations. Your people cannot fight them alone. But the Valari Collective can help. We can protect you." There was a pause. Yuna turned to speak with someone off-screen. Tora could not hear the words, but she saw Yuna nod several times. When Yuna turned back, her smile was wider. "Commander Tora, we thank you for the warning, and we appreciate your offer of protection. It is very kind." She paused. "However, before we discuss this further, we would like to invite you to visit our planet. There are things we would like to show you." "Show us?" Tora repeated. "Yes, I think you will find Earth more interesting than you expect. Please, bring your delegation to the City of Seoul. We will meet you there and answer all your questions." Tora looked at Bora. The young navigator shrugged. This was strange. Very strange. But also very interesting. "Very well," Tora said. "We accept your invitation." Yuna bowed slightly. "Excellent. We look forward to meeting you, Commander. Welcome to Earth." The screen went dark. The bridge was silent. "Commander," Bora said slowly, "something is wrong." They were not afraid at all. Tora nodded. She had commanded ships for 400 years. She had contacted 17 species. Not one of them had reacted like this. "No," she agreed. They were not afraid. "And that, young Bora, is what worries me most." She looked at the blue planet below. So beautiful. So peaceful. So mysterious. What secrets did Earth hold? What had the Valari missed in 300 years of watching? Tora did not know, but she was about to find out. "Prepare a shuttle," she ordered. "We go to meet the humans." The Valari shuttle descended through Earth's atmosphere. Commander Tora watched through the window as clouds parted and the land appeared below. Green fields, blue rivers, gray cities that stretched for miles. Earth was alive in ways that surprised her. "Commander, look," Bora pointed. Tora looked. Below them, in a large open park, thousands of humans had gathered. They stood in neat rows, watching the shuttle come down. But they were not running away. They were not screaming. They were simply watching, waiting. "They treat this like a normal day," Tora said quietly. "Like visitors from space arrive every morning." The shuttle landed softly on the grass. The door opened, and Tora stepped out first. The air smelled fresh. The sun felt warm on her gray skin. She had visited many worlds, but few felt so full of life. A small group of humans walked toward them. Tora recognized Yuna at the front. She wore formal clothes now, dark blue with gold buttons. Behind her walked a tall man with short gray hair and a serious face. He wore a green uniform covered with medals. "Commander Tora," Yuna said, bowing slightly. "Welcome to Seoul. Welcome to Earth." "Thank you for receiving us," Tora replied. She gestured to her crew. "These are my officers. Navigator Bora, Security Chief Myra, Science Officer Hana." The humans bowed to each one. Then the tall man stepped forward. "I am General Deo," he said. His voice was deep and rough. "I command Earth's defense forces." Tora tilted her head. Defense forces? You have such things? Daeho's expression did not change. We do. Interesting, Tora said carefully. We did not know humans had organized military structures capable of space defense. There is much you do not know about us, Commander. Daeho's tone was not rude, but it was firm. That is why we invited you here. Yuna stepped between them smoothly. Please, let us go somewhere more comfortable. We have prepared a meeting room where we can talk properly. They walked through the park toward a large building made of glass and steel. The crowds of humans watched silently as they passed. Tora noticed something strange. The humans did not look at the Valari with fear or wonder. They looked at them the way soldiers looked at other soldiers. With respect, but also with assessment. Inside the building, they entered a large room with a round table. Screens covered the walls. Human guards stood at every door, their backs straight, their eyes alert. Once everyone sat down, Yuna spoke first. Commander Tora, you said the Harrow Swarm is coming to our sector. Please, tell us everything you know about them. Tora nodded. She had given this speech many times before. The Harrow Swarm is an ancient enemy. We do not know where they came from or how old they are. They move through space in great waves, consuming all organic life. Their ships are partly alive, grown from the matter they consume. They cannot be reasoned with. They cannot be stopped through diplomacy. They only understand hunger. She paused. The humans listened carefully. None of them looked surprised. The swarm has destroyed 14 civilizations in our recorded history, Tora continued. 3 more survived only because the Valari Collective intervened. We brought fleets. We fought the swarm. We protected the young species until the swarm moved on. And now they come here, Daeho said. Yes, our calculations show they will arrive in approximately 18 months. Their numbers are vast. We have seen swarms that stretch for thousands of kilometers. Your weapons cannot hurt them. Your shields cannot stop them. She looked around the table seriously. But do not fear. The Valari Collective will protect you. Our fleet will arrive within 6 months. We will position ourselves between Earth and the swarm. We will fight them as we have fought them before. Silence filled the room. Yuna and Daeho exchanged a long look. Something passed between them. Some understanding that Tora could not read. Commander, Yuna said finally, we thank you for this information. And we are grateful for your offer. But we need to show you something before we discuss protection. Show us what? Yuna stood. She touched a screen on the wall. The display changed. Tora felt her body go cold. The screen showed space, but not empty space. Ships filled the image. Thousands of ships. Human ships. Warships with long barrels and heavy armor. Carriers with smaller fighters nestled in their bays. Support vessels and defense platforms and things Tora did not even recognize. What is this? Bora whispered. This is Earth Fleet, Daeho said calmly. 12,000 vessels. Ready for deployment within 90 days. Tora's mind struggled to process what she was seeing. Impossible. Your technology was barely reaching your outer planets. Your ships use chemical fuel. You had no weapons capable of space combat. Yuna smiled that small, secret smile again. That is what we wanted everyone to believe. She touched another button. More images appeared. Underground factories stretching for miles. Research stations hidden in asteroids. Training facilities where humans learn to fight in zero gravity. We've been preparing for 60 years, Yuna explained. When we first detected signs of the swarm in deep space, we knew what was coming. We studied every piece of information we could find. We learned about the Valari. We learned about the swarm. We learned about all the civilizations that were destroyed. And you decided to build weapons in secret, Tora said slowly, to hide your true capabilities from the galaxy. We decided to protect ourselves, Deho answered. We studied history, Commander. Our own history. When powerful strangers come to help the weak, things rarely end well for the weak. Even when the strangers have good intentions. We did not want to be dependent on anyone, Yuna added. We wanted to be able to choose our own future. Tora sat back in a chair. In 400 years of service, she had never experienced anything like this. The Valari had watched Earth for 3 centuries. They had seen humans fighting with swords, with guns, with nuclear weapons. They had seen humans slowly, painfully reach for the stars. But all that time, the humans had been hiding, learning, building. You tricked us, Tora said. It was not an accusation, just a statement of fact. We protected ourselves, Yuna corrected gently. There is a difference. Tora looked at the images on the screen. 12,000 ships. Weapons she had never seen before. Technology that should have been impossible for such a young species. The swarm is still coming, she said. Even with all of this, you may not survive. Deho leaned forward. Perhaps not. But we will not go quietly. And we will not bow to anyone who offers protection with chains attached. We do not chain the species we protect. No? Deho raised one eyebrow. Tell me, Commander. Of the 17 species the Valari have protected, how many were asked what they wanted? How many were given a choice? Tora opened her mouth to answer. Then she closed it. The truth was uncomfortable. None of them had been asked. The Valari had simply arrived and announced they would protect the young species. It had never occurred to them to do anything different. Yuna's voice was soft. We do not doubt your good intentions, Commander. But Earth will not accept guardians. We have had enough masters in our history. She stood and walked to the window, looking out at the city below. However, she continued, we would be very interested in discussing something else. What? Tora asked. Yuna turned back. Her eyes were bright. Alliance, partnership, equals standing together against a common enemy. She smiled. Not protectors and protected, just friends. Tora stared at this human. This small creature from a small world who dared to offer friendship to the ancient Valari as if they were equals. It was shocking. It was insulting. It was completely against everything the Valari believed. And yet, somehow, Tora found herself wanting to hear more. Tell me, she said slowly, what exactly do you have in mind? The underground train moved fast through dark tunnels. Tora sat beside Yuna, watching the stone walls flash past. They had been traveling for 30 minutes, going deeper and deeper beneath the mountains. Where are you taking us? Tora asked. To our biggest secret, Yuna replied. We call it the Aegis Project. Only a few thousand people on Earth know it exists. Tora leaned forward from his seat. Why show us? We are strangers. We could be enemies. General Deho, sitting across from them, laughed. It was a short, rough sound. If you were enemies, you would have attacked already. Your ships had weapons pointed at our cities the moment you arrived. He shrugged. Besides, if we are going to fight together, you need to know what we can do. The train slowed and stopped. The doors opened. Tora stepped out and felt her breath catch. They stood in a cavern so large that clouds formed near the ceiling. But the cavern was not empty. It was filled with ships. Hundreds of ships. Warships bigger than any Tora had seen humans build. Their hulls gleamed with strange metals. Their weapons were unlike anything in Valari records. By the ancestors, Myra whispered. The Valari security chief had seen many things in her life, but this made her pale. This is just one of 12 facilities, Una said calmly. We have similar bases under the ocean, inside asteroids, and on the dark side of our moon. Together, they hold our entire fleet. Tora walked closer to the nearest ship. Its hull was covered with symbols she did not recognize. Strange patterns that seemed to shift when she looked directly at them. "What metal is this?" she asked. "We call it ghost steel," a new voice answered. Tora turned. A young woman walked toward them. She wore a white coat covered with tool marks and burn spots. Her hair was tied back in a messy knot. "This is Dr. Sora," Una introduced. "She leads our weapons research division." Sora bowed quickly. "Commander, ghost steel is our own invention. It absorbs most forms of energy and converts them to fuel. The more you shoot at it, the stronger it becomes." Tora stared. "That is impossible. Energy cannot be converted so efficiently." "It is impossible by your physics," Sora agreed. "We found different physics." She smiled. It was the smile of someone who had many secrets. "Would you like to see more?" They walked through the facility. Sora explained each weapon, each ship, each piece of technology. With every explanation, Tora felt more and more shocked. Missiles that could track targets across star systems. Shields that bent space itself. Communication devices that worked instantly across any distance. Soldiers wearing armor that made them stronger, faster, almost impossible to kill. "How?" Tora finally demanded. "How did you develop all this? Your species has only had electricity for 200 years. You should not understand these principles for another 1,000 years." Sora and Una exchanged looks. Deho stepped forward. 60 years ago, he said, we detected something strange near the edge of our solar system. A signal, not natural, not from Earth. We sent a probe to investigate. He touched a panel on the wall. A hologram appeared. It showed a ship, broken and dead, floating in the darkness of space. We found a wreck. A ship from a civilization that died long ago. The swarm killed them, we think. But before they died, they tried to warn others. They left behind their knowledge, their science, everything they knew about the universe. Tora felt cold. You found first-age technology. We found hope, Una corrected. We found proof that we were not alone, that there were others out there, that some of them wanted to help future species survive what they could not. We spent 20 years studying that wreck, Sora continued, learning its secrets, adapting its technology to work with ours. It was hard. Many people died in accidents. Many experiments failed. But slowly, we began to understand. And you told no one, Tora said. Not even when other species visited Earth. Especially then, Deho said firmly. The Valari were not the first to find us. Others came before. Traitors, scouts, some with good intentions, some without. We showed them all the same thing. Simple humans on a simple world. No threat to anyone. We lied, Una admitted. We are not proud of that. But we had to protect ourselves. We had to be ready before we revealed the truth. Tora thought about this for a long moment. The Valari had watched Earth for 3 centuries. They had seen everything the humans did on their world. But they had never looked deeper. They had never imagined that these small, short-lived creatures could hide such enormous secrets. The wreck you found, Tora said slowly. Did it have any records? Any information about the species that built it? Sora nodded. Some. They called themselves the Pale Wanderers. They traveled the galaxy for 10,000 years before the swarm found them. They could not defeat the swarm, but they hurt them. Badly. Their last message said they hoped someone would finish what they started. And you intend to be that someone. Una stepped forward. Her eyes were bright with something that looked like fire. "Commander, we do not want to just survive the swarm. We do not want to hide behind walls while someone else fights for us. We want to end them. Forever. We want to make sure no other species ever has to fear them again." The words hung in the air. Tora felt something strange. Something she had not felt in centuries. Admiration. The Valari protected species. They saved them from danger. But they had never tried to end the danger itself. They had never imagined they could. But these humans, with their short lives and young civilization, dreamed of destroying an enemy that had terrorized the galaxy for millennia. "You believe you can defeat them," Tora said. "Truly defeat them." "We believe we have to try," Deho replied. "Hiding is not living. Running is not surviving. Sooner or later, someone has to stand and fight. And you think that someone should be humanity. We think that someone should be everyone." Yuna's voice was gentle but strong. "That is why we want alliance, Commander. Not protection. We want the Valari to stand with us. Not in front of us. We want to face the swarm together. As equals." Tora looked at the ships around her. The weapons. The technology. The soldiers in their impossible armor. She thought about the 17 species the Valari had protected. All of them were safe now, living quiet lives under Valari guardianship. But none of them had ever done anything like this. None of them had ever tried to protect others. Only humans. "I cannot make this decision alone," Tora said finally. "I must speak with my people. With the Valari High Council." "We understand," Una said. "Take all the time you need." "But Commander," Deho added, "know this. Whether you join us or not, we will fight. When the swarm comes, Earth will not bow. We will stand. We will resist. And if we die, we will die free." Tora met his eyes. She saw no fear there. No doubt, only certainty. These humans were either the bravest species she had ever met or the most foolish. Perhaps both. "I will speak to my council," Tora said, "and I will tell them everything I have seen here today." She looked around at the massive ships, the advanced weapons, the determined humans. "I suspect," she added quietly, "that they will be as shocked as I am." The Valari High Council met aboard the great ship Eternal Memory. 12 elders, each more than 1,000 years old, sat in a circle of light. Their holographic images flickered as they listened to Commander Tora's report. "Impossible," said Elder Nara when Tora finished. Her ancient voice crackled with disbelief. "A young species cannot develop such technology. You must be mistaken." "I am not mistaken," Tora replied calmly. "I walked through their facilities myself. I touched their ships. I spoke with their scientists. The humans have weapons that match ours. In some ways, they exceed ours. Then they are dangerous," said Elder Korin. His face was hard. "We should leave this system immediately. Let the swarm deal with them." "And if the humans defeat the swarm?" asked Elder Mia. She was the youngest of the council, only 800 years old. "What then?" "We will have abandoned the potential ally and created a certain enemy." The council argued for hours. Tora stood silent, waiting. She had said what she needed to say. Now the decision was not hers. Finally, Elder Nara raised her hand. The others fell silent. "Commander Tora," Nara said slowly, "you have spent time with these humans. You have looked into their eyes. Tell us truly. What did you see there?" Tora thought carefully before answering. "I saw something we have forgotten, Elder. I saw a species that refuses to accept fate. They know the swarm is coming. They know they might die. But they are not waiting for rescue. They are not praying for salvation. They are building, fighting, preparing." She paused. For 3 centuries, we watched them and saw only children. We were wrong. They are warriors, Elder. Warriors who chose to protect others instead of only themselves. Their ships are not just for Earth. They built enough to shield a dozen worlds. Worlds they have never visited. Species they have never met. Why would they do such a thing? Elder Korin demanded. Because they believe it is right, Tora answered. They call it paying forward. Doing good for strangers, because strangers once did good for them. It is how they think. How they live. The council was silent for a long moment. And they want alliance, Elder Nara said. Not protection, alliance. Yes, they want to fight beside us, not behind us. They want to be partners, not subjects. We have never had partners, Elder Mia said softly. Only protected species. Perhaps it is time for something new, Tora suggested. More silence. The elders looked at each other. Centuries of tradition weighed against this moment. The Valari had always been the guardians. The protectors. The ones who saved others. But what if there was another way? Elder Nara closed her eyes. When she opened them again, her decision was made. Very well, she said. We will meet with the humans. We will discuss alliance. She pointed at Tora. But you will lead these talks, Commander. This is your discovery. Your responsibility. Tora bowed. I understand, Elder. I will not fail you. 3 days later, the talks began. They met on a space station orbiting Earth's moon. Humans and Valari sat across from each other at a long table. On one side, Admiral Hyuk led the human delegation. He was an old man with white hair and sharp eyes. On the other side, Commander Tora represented the Valari. Let us be clear about one thing, Admiral Hyuk began. We do not seek charity. We do not seek protection. We seek partners who will stand with us as equals. And we do not give charity, Tora replied. We protect those who cannot protect themselves. But you are not such a species. We must find a new way forward. The negotiations were difficult. Both sides had strong opinions. Both sides had pride. There were moments when it seemed the talks would fail. But slowly, carefully, they built something new. Your weapons are powerful, Tora admitted. But you lack experience fighting the swarm. We have fought them many times. We know their patterns, their weaknesses. And your experience is valuable, Hugh agreed. But your tactics are defensive. You protect. You shield. You wait. We think differently. We attack. We adapt. We find ways to hurt our enemies that no one has tried before. Then perhaps together we can do what neither could do alone. They created a joint command structure. Human aggression combined with Valari experience. Human technology combined with Valari knowledge. Two species learning from each other instead of one teaching and one following. Ambassador Yuna joined the final session. She brought a document written in both human and Valari languages. We call this the Soul Accord, she said. It states that humans and Valari are equal partners in the coming war. Neither species commands the other. All decisions are made together. All victories are shared. All losses are mourned as one. Tora read the document carefully. It was everything her species had never done before. Everything they had never imagined. This will change the galaxy, she said quietly. We hope so, Yuna replied. The old way was not working. Species hiding behind guardians, waiting to be saved. That is not living. That is just surviving. And you want more than survival. We want a galaxy where everyone protects everyone. Where the strong help the weak become strong themselves. Where species stand together instead of waiting for others to stand for them. Tora looked at the document for a long time. Then she picked up a writing tool and signed her name. The Valari Collective agrees to the Soul Accord, she announced. We are partners now. We are allies. We will face the swarm together. Hyuk sang next. Then Yuna. Then the other members of both delegations. When it was done, Yuna smiled. You know, she said, this is the first time in your history that you have fought beside a species instead of in front of them. Tora nodded slowly. It feels strange, but also right. That is how change usually feels. Outside the station, human and Valari ships flew together for the first time. Their crews waved at each other through windows. Different species, different histories. But now, the same future. The swarm will not know what to do, Admiral Hyuk said, looking out at the combined fleet. They've never faced anything like this before. Neither have we, Tora admitted. But perhaps that is exactly what the galaxy needs. Something new. Something different. She turned to face her new allies. Something better. The preparations for war continued. Humans learned Valari tactics. Valari learned human creativity. Soldiers from both species trained together, ate together, fought together in simulations. And somewhere in the dark of space, the Harrow Swarm continued its endless journey toward Earth. They did not know what waited for them. They had no idea that for the first time in their long history of destruction, they would face something they had never encountered before. Not protectors and protected. Not guardians and children. Partners. Allies. A united front that would change everything. The Harrow Swarm arrived on a cold morning in December. Commander Tora stood on the bridge of the Eternal Vigil, watching the sensors light up with red warnings. Beside her, Admiral Hyuk commanded the human flagship Sol's Dawn. Both ships flew at the center of the largest fleet ever assembled. How many? Hyuk asked calmly. Millions, Tora replied. Her voice was steady, but inside she felt something she had not felt in centuries. Not fear exactly. Something else. Anticipation. The swarm filled the sky like a living darkness. Their ships were not like normal ships. They were grown, not built. Living metal twisted into horrible shapes. Tendrils and teeth and hunger giving form. They are beautiful in a terrible way, Yuna said. She stood near the communication console, ready to coordinate between the Allied forces. They are death, Deho replied. He commanded the ground defenses on Earth below. Death that has eaten worlds. Not this world, Hyuk said firmly. Not today. He opened a channel to the entire fleet. 30,000 ships. Valari and human. Different species, different histories, but one purpose. All forces, this is Admiral Hyuk. The enemy is here. You know why we fight. You know what we protect. Behind us is Earth. Behind us are families, children, homes, and everything we love. Today, we do not run. Today, we do not hide. Today, we stand together and show the swarm that this galaxy will not be their food anymore. He paused. All ships, attack formation. Make them bleed. The fleet moved as one. Human ships were fast and aggressive. They darted through the swarm like silver fish through dark water. Their ghost steel hulls absorbed the swarm's weapons and turned that energy into more firepower. Their missiles found targets and exploded in bright flowers of destruction. Valari ships were steady and wise. They formed shield walls that protected damaged allies. They targeted the swarm's command nodes, the central creatures that organized the attacks. They used centuries of experience to predict where the swarm would strike next. Together, they were unstoppable. Third wave approaching from above. A Valari officer reported. Human Squadron 7, intercept, Tora ordered. Squadron 7 responding, came the human voice. We see them. Moving to engage. The battle raged for hours. Ships died on both sides. Brave soldiers gave their lives to protect their friends. The darkness of space filled with fire and light and screaming metal But slowly, impossibly, the Alliance began to win. "Commander, look at this," Bora said. His voice shook with wonder. "The swarm is pulling back. They are retreating." Tora stared at her displays. In all of Valari history, the swarm had never retreated. They ate or they were destroyed. There was no middle ground. Until now. "They feel fear," Tora whispered. "For the first time, they feel fear." Admiral Hyuk's voice came through the communication channel. "All ships, they are running. Do we pursue?" Tora thought quickly. The old Valari way would be to let them go, to protect what they had and be grateful for survival. But things were different now. "Yes," she said. "We pursue. We finish this." The Allied fleet chased the swarm across the solar system. Human aggression and Valari precision working together. Every time the swarm tried to regroup, the Alliance struck them again. Every time they tried to escape, the Alliance cut them off. The final battle happened near the edge of Earth's solar system. The swarm's queen ship, a monstrous thing the size of a small moon, tried to flee into deep space. But Admiral Hyuk and Commander Tora had planned for this. "All ships, focus fire on the Queen," Hyuk commanded. "Shield wall down," Tora added. "Concentrate everything." 30,000 ships fired at once. Human weapons and Valari weapons combining into a single beam of destruction. The Queen ship screamed. Its voice echoed through space, a cry of rage and disbelief. And then it exploded. The remaining swarm ships went wild. Without their queen to guide them, they attacked randomly, crashing into each other, flying into stars. Within hours, the last of them were destroyed. The battle was over. The Harrow Swarm, terror of the galaxy for millennia, was finally defeated. Silence fell across the fleet. Then, slowly cheering began. Human voices and Valari harmonics mixing together. Crews hugging each other. Soldiers crying with relief. On the bridge of the Eternal Vigil, Tora sat down heavily. Her body felt empty. Her mind struggled to understand what had just happened. "We did it," Boris said. Tears ran down his silver face. "We actually did it." Admiral Hyuk's hologram appeared beside them. The old human was smiling, but he looked tired. So very tired. "Commander Tora," he said, "we could not have done this without you. Without the Valari. And we could not have done it without humanity," Tora replied. "For the first time, we did not just protect. We destroyed. We ended the threat forever. Together. Yes, together." 1 year later, they built a space station to celebrate the victory. Representatives from 12 species attended the dedication ceremony. Not just humans and Valari, but also species that the Valari had once protected. Species that now wanted something different. Ambassador Yuna stood at the podium. 1 year ago, strangers came to our world. They came to protect us. They came to save us from danger. They thought we were weak. They thought we needed guardians. She smiled. We surprised them. Laughter rippled through the crowd. But we did not reject their help. We changed the terms. We said we would fight beside them, not behind them. We said we wanted partnership, not protection. And together we achieved what no one thought possible. We ended the Harrow Swarm forever. She looked down at the gathered species. This is the future we want for the galaxy. Not protectors and protected. Not masters and subjects. Partners. Equals. Species standing together. Learning from each other. Fighting for each other. Commander Tora stepped forward to stand beside her. "The Valari came to guard Earth," Tora said. Humanity's answer shocked us. They did not want guards. They wanted friends. She placed her hand on Yuna's shoulder. Today, they have more than friends. They have family. The crowd cheered. Human and Valari and a dozen other species, all celebrating together. Outside the station, Ships from many worlds flew in formation, a symbol of the new order, the new way. Later, Yuna found Tara alone on an observation deck, watching the stars. "What are you thinking?" Yuna asked. Tara was quiet for a moment. "I am thinking about how wrong we were. For centuries, we treated young species like children. We protected them, but we never let them grow. We kept them safe, but we never let them become strong. And now? Now I see a better way." "Your way." Tara turned to face her human friend. "When you built your fleet, you did not build it just for Earth. You built it to protect others. Strangers you had never met. Species you knew nothing about. It seemed like the right thing to do. It was more than right. It was remarkable." Tara smiled. It was still a strange expression for a Valari, but she was learning. "You came from a small world. You lived short lives. You had every reason to think only of yourselves. But instead, you thought of the galaxy." Yuna shrugged. "That is just how we are. We cannot help it." "I know," Tara said. "And that is why humanity is special. Not because of your weapons or your technology, but because of your hearts." They stood together in silence, watching the stars. Somewhere out there, other species were learning about what had happened. Other worlds were beginning to hope. The swarm was gone. The future was open. "What happens now?" Yuna asked. Tara thought about the question. A year ago, she would have had a simple answer. The Valari would continue protecting. The galaxy would continue as it always had. But everything was different now. "Now we build," she said finally. "We grow. We teach others what we learned here. That protection is not enough. That everyone has strength inside them. That together, we are always more than the sum of our parts." Yuna nodded. Together, together. The stars shone bright above them. And somewhere in that vast darkness, the future waited. A future where no species would have to stand alone. A future built by humans and Valari and all the others who had learned that the answer to danger was not hiding behind walls. The answer was standing together, fighting together, living together. That was humanity's real gift to the galaxy. Not weapons, not technology, hope, the end.